All right, all right. How y'all doing, everybody? This is once again, this is your boy, uh, the Wood Dog, and this is my segment, Just Keeping It Real, the Wood Dog, because keeping it real is the only thing that I know how to do. Today is February the 22nd, Thursday. February 22nd, Thursday. All right. I'm going to talk about two things today. And the first one will be the Wayne County Ethics Board in Wayne County, Michigan. The second thing we're going to talk about is the Wayne County Sheriff, Rafael Washington, again, going way out of bounds, disrespecting a man way above and beyond what was necessary. And when I talk about that situation, if you are a homeowner, if you're a family person, you're going to feel everything that I have to say on this situation. It doesn't matter if you're a supporter of the current Wayne County Sheriff, Rafael Washington, or not. There are some lines that you just don't cross. And I'm going to address that right now. All right. The first thing is, let me just backtrack. Let's just get right into it. Now, let me talk about the Wayne County Ethics Board. The Wayne County Ethics Board is a board that's supposed to enforce rules of elected officials in Wayne County. And if I'm not mistaken, each elected official has the ability to appoint a representative to this ethics board. And on the surface, even if you didn't know about the Wayne County Ethics Board, you would know that it's a board that's supposed to keep everybody in check or embarrass them to do the right thing. But let me say this, if you cannot embarrass someone or shame them, that is a dangerous person. And the person that I'm speaking about is the current Wayne County Sheriff, Rafael Washington, and his minions underneath him that assist him and enable him to do the things that he's doing. This ethics board complaint was filed by the former Wayne County Deputy Sheriff's Union President Reginald Crawford. You've already saw my videos on this thing. If you go on YouTube and type in Just Keeping It Real at Wood Dog 4868, you can reference all my videos in their chronological order, the live ones that I've done last year up to this year. He was put on the hot seat about a rules violation that, public officials are not allowed to solicit monies for any reason from anybody without reporting it. And there was two non-reportings. It was one reporting where he was cash apping, mentioning a cash app for his mother. And that's what brought on the ethics complaint, because there's a Wayne County ordinance and rules that say that public officials are not allowed to do that sort of thing. And then he was receiving gifts and gratuities from a reserve that he appointed without any training, received thousands of dollars worth of gifts from this man, and then wants to cry foul because the money slows down and the gifts slow down. Okay, now this Wayne County Ethics Board, if there's an elected official in Wayne County that goes out of bounds, they're supposed to sanction them at the minimum, try to embarrass them to do the right thing. But when you got the sheriff who has an appointee on that board, and there's other people on that board who are appointed by other Wayne County elected officials who just don't want to muddy the waters, don't want to disturb their position. They was living for a day like this where the ethics board has news cameras in the hearing recording them. Otherwise, most of these hearings go on every month after month after month, and nobody really watches them until there's a situation going down with Rafael Washington. He clearly violated those ethics rules, and they just gave him a pass. You know, they knew, any intelligent person would know that you cannot solicit gratuities or money. Doesn't matter if you in your uniform or not. But more important, you can't do it in your uniform. There was a post posted with Rafael Washington in his uniform with his mother. And then there was another post where he was in his suit with his mom. So he had one with his uniform on, requesting Cash App. Whether he made the post, it was under his name. So that's his post. And then there's another picture with him with a suit on. The picture with his mom in uniform standing next to each other, it's on my Facebook page. Under Frank Wood. Like I said, I don't hide who I am. You know, my nickname is the Wood Dog, but that's what everybody calls me. This clearly, here's the Wayne County Ordinance, and it's going to cover some other issues. I'm going to be real quick with it. A public servant shall not use county personnel, resources, property, or funds under public servants' official care and control, and solely in accordance with prescribed constitutional, statutory, and regulatory procedures. All county vehicles shall be used in accordance with the County Vehicle Use Ordinance. Okay. Inappropriate use of county time and property for political activity. A public servant is prohibited from engaging in political campaign activities during hours for which the public servant receives compensation from the county, while using county equipment or resources, or while on property where business of the county is conducted. A public servant personally or through an agent is prohibited from soliciting or other public servants to work on political campaign activities during hours for which the public servant receives compensation from the county, while using county equipment or resources, or while on property the same as the other one. Here's another one, Section 3A. A public servant personally or through an agent is prohibited from stating or implying to any public servant or that participation in any political activity, including fundraising events, is necessary for employment or for benefit of employment within the county. A public servant personally or through an agent is prohibited from discreting or concerning any other public prohibited political activity. I mean, it goes on and on. It's pretty much the same thing. This is the ordinance from 2014-734, page 10 of the Wayne County Ordinance Ethics Code. So I'm not making this up. He clearly violated that, and they just gave him a pass at that hearing. You saw the hearing, you saw the news report from investigative reporter Ross Jones today at 6 o'clock. The whole story will probably be posted later on the Channel 7 website under investigations. And actually, it's already on the Channel 7 website now in written form. Okay, now there was some things that I wanted to clear up. And that was one of them that I wanted to clear up. They gave my man a pass just because they have an appointed position to that board. But if they stuck to those policies and stuff, he clearly violated that. But that's not a win for Rafael Washington. You know, he just got a pass because we all know, and they know on that Wayne County Ethics Board, that he clearly violated Wayne County ethics rules and the county ordinance. Okay? It's very clear. And I'm just keeping it real, all right? Now, this is not going to be a long video today because I'm getting right to it. Now, the second thing that we're going to talk about is the news report from last week, Thursday. That would have been February 15th, where there was a story about Rafael Washington, certifying a reservist just because he paid to play. Okay, look. You can't question what a person wants, okay, but how best to get it. So he went straight to the top, and the sheriff ignored all the policies and procedures of Wayne County to get this man in a uniform, a gun, and all that good stuff because he was providing him with coffee mugs, pens, vacuum cleaners. Where was that vacuum cleaner at? Okay, where was that vacuum cleaner being used at? Was it being used at his home, his personal residence, or was it being used at his office? It doesn't matter because he wasn't even supposed to be receiving that stuff like that. But he received it. He took possession of it, you know, and it was a requirement for this reserve individual to get on the sheriff reserves. He pimped the man. And then when the man decided to pull back because he had already spent over $9,000 for pens, coffee mugs, phone chargers, he had to scale back. He can't keep giving money like that. So then they want to just up and say that he had a domestic violence issue, which was why he was not kicked off the reserve squad. Well, we know that's not true because the man went and done a security check on himself, you know, and there's no domestic violence anywhere. Okay, now let me get into this. Sheriff Rafael Washington violated another rule because he just the other day, Sheriff Rafael Washington sent 2 or 3 of his deputies with Wayne County Sheriff vehicles with sheriff license plates to Macomb County to so-called return the donated items that he asked for from this reserve. He already gave that stuff to Rafael Washington to so-called promote himself for his election in 2022. And now he wants to give it back only after the story broke about how he allowed my man to get a uniform, a badge, a gun, and all this good stuff, and how he received all this stuff from this man, and then thinking that taking it back to Macomb County was going to relieve him of that future ethics complaint. No, that's just like robbing a bank. And then you decide, oh, I made a mistake. I'm going to take the money back. You already robbed the bank. You still getting prosecuted for robbing that bank. That's the way it goes. You know, you don't get a pass. Okay? But he drove Wayne County vehicles. His 2 minions drove those vehicles outside of Wayne County to this man's home. Now let me get real serious about this. This is the part that I told you that's going to hit every person. That reserve is a family man. And he went and basically sent those deputies out to Macomb Township, which is almost 45 minutes away from Wayne County, with Wayne County vehicles, burning Wayne County gas. And these 2 people are on the clock, you know, transporting campaign material in Wayne County vehicles, which is another violation of the Wayne County ordinance and ethics code. Sheriff Rafael Washington was using personnel and equipment for political purposes to transport this stuff that he no longer wanted out to this man's home 45 minutes away from Wayne County and drove to this man's house. This man is a family man. He's a husband. He's a father. He's a businessman in his community. And they basically drove up in his driveway, making it appear that it was some type of invasion going on. The man didn't know what to do, and he filed a police report to that effect, you know? And I can understand Rafael Washington falling out with this man, with this reserve, and this reserve having issues with Rafael Washington, but Rafael Washington made it unnecessarily personal when he went to this man's home, his personal residence, where this man lives and raises his family and his children. Sheriff Rafael Washington, in my opinion, put children in the middle of grown folks' mess. And that's one thing I've always had an issue with children being in the middle of grown folks' mess. They had no business going to this man's home. If Sheriff Rafael Washington did not want those items anymore that he asked for from this reserve, he could have threw all that stuff in a dumpster. Or he could have made contact with the former reserve deputy, asked him, look, let's meet up and let me return this stuff. But instead, he sends them two plainclothes deputies out there, and I'm going to talk about them in a minute, out there to intimidate this man. Not only did they drop off the vacuum cleaner that was missing pieces to it, it looked like it had been vacuuming up a brothel. You know, hair, probably bed bugs in the filter of that doggone thing. Then they just dropping the boxes of coffee mugs off on the man's porch. They were told twice to leave the man's property. He was observing them on his cameras, told them to leave twice, and they refused. They left at their own accord. And then when they were leaving the property, they were driving on my man's grass. Their vehicles had chipped his brand new driveway going up to his home. If they had went off the driveway any further, they would have been in the ditch and the vehicle would have flipped over. They made it extremely even more personal. They had a bag of shredded money. You know how you can go to the Federal Reserve and get shredded money? Why would they leave a bag of shredded money on this man's doorstep? That's what they did. See, the news report didn't cover everything that I'm telling you right now. Sheriff Rafael Washington and his security guard deputies, if you want to call them that, they did that to intimidate the man, to try to put him in fear of his, not only his safety, but his finances, if they are so inclined. But they don't have no juice like that to mess with this man's business, because obviously, I'm sure when they went to Macomb County and saw how this man is living, they realized that they made a mistake, because he has the ability to fight back. Okay. Now, the shredded money that wasn't mentioned in the Channel 7 news report, it was shown on the camera, but there was no mention of it. Putting shredded money on this man's doorstep is basically saying, hey, you know, yeah, we got your money, but you ain't getting none of it back. That's the way I took it. And to let him know that we could possibly affect your paper in the future. Maybe we can affect some of your clients that you have with your business. And for these two officers that were obviously sent there either by Sheriff Rafael Washington or Captain Reed Shackerbarty from Internal Affairs. You know, them people down there think I don't know what's going on, you know, but I do, you know, because when I was a deputy sheriff with Wayne County for over 30 years, everybody respected me. And why? Because I respected them back. They gave me love. I gave them love back. I never messed a friend over in my life. I've never messed over another officer in my life. I was never engaged in any criminal activity. When I was a deputy, I was so happy I retired out of that place. I don't know what to do. And with these continuous issues with Sheriff Rafael Washington coming up over and over again, should let everybody in Wayne County know, and the city of Detroit, that we need a new sheriff in this town. We can't keep absorbing this type of information on Sheriff Rafael. Every 2 or 3 weeks, he's doing something stupid. And what he did going to that man's house like that, in another county, mind you, with Wayne County vehicles. I'm sure the Macomb County Sheriff is like, what? You know, I'm sure the township police chief in wherever this man is at, what? I mean, how you gonna go out to a person's house and address your personal issue with another man where this man raises his family? If this reserve had went to Sheriff Rafael Washington's house, it would have been police cars swarming up him. They would have tried to find some way to take him into custody. But because he's the sheriff, he gets to do this. Now, what I'm about to say, this needs to hit the ears of the Wayne County executive and the Wayne County county executives, chief executive Asad Turfy. Who are these two officers that are doing all this stuff for Rafael Washington? These two officers obviously have sheriff IDs and badges in their pockets, but they don't have Class A uniforms and they don't have fatigue uniforms to work in the jail. So who are they? More than likely, they are retired Detroit police officers, and Sheriff Washington tries to find a way to work and maneuver these officers on a contractual thing, but yet he still gives them police authority, but yet so they can get around the union, because Michigan is no longer a right to work state. Joining the union is a condition of employment. So who are these officers? How does he get them to do his bidding and drive him around and run errands for him, knowing that what they doing is wrong, but they do it anyway? If you got a problem with another man, you address it with that man. You don't go to that man's house where he raises his family to address your issue. Yeah, this is the Wood Dog, and this is my segment. I'm just keeping it real because I'm on fire today, because there was a lot of stuff that wasn't covered in that story, and I understand they only got so much time, but that's why there's platforms like this to get this stuff out there. You know, Rafael Washington should have never sent those officers out there. He just thought that he could try to avoid another ethics board complaint that's obviously coming. And you can't rob a bank and give the money back. You saw the news report, all those coffee mugs. What about all the coffee mugs that are missing? He said he never handed any of them out, and there's pictures of him at a senior's place giving out coffee mugs. He's been giving out them coffee mugs and those ink pens for over a year. Where are those phone chargers at? When they dropped off stuff, they just dropped off what was left over. He's still in possession. And people that he gave that stuff to, in violation of the campaign finance rules that he didn't disclose. Where is the state of Michigan Attorney General on this issue? Where is the state of Michigan on this issue? Where are they on this issue? They going after other people for the same thing. It's time for him to get some, you know? He feels like he can't be touched. And when he's offered the opportunity to speak and respond, he doesn't want to say anything. Ross Jones interviewed the reserve deputy. He offered to interview Rafael Washington, but he don't want to talk. But when you want to talk to Rafael Washington about running for sheriff this year, he wants to talk about that. And I'm very curious about him passing out these so-called VIP bags with coffee mugs, pens, and whatever else, mugs and whatever else is in these bags. Is he doing the same thing at these senior citizen places that he go to and visit? Is he accepting campaign money from people who live in assisted living facilities? Because, you know, those people do have money. So is he there to let them know that he just wants to be the sheriff, or is he there to let them know that he'd be a sheriff, but I will accept some campaign money from you? I'm very curious about that. All right. Now, once again, before I go, you never put kids in the middle of grown folks' mess. And that's what Rafael Washington did when he sent those two officers out there to his house where that man raises his family. That was totally wrong and out of pocket, and that needs to be addressed, and I'm sure that but there needs to be an audit. There needs to be a forensic audit of the sheriff's department to find out where every person is on the payroll for the sheriff's department, because he's employing guys that he had take this stuff out to. Who are they? The union doesn't really know who these guys are, but they got badges and IDs, and they're acting under the authority of the sheriff, but they should be union members paying union dues, because being a part of the union is a condition of employment. If they're acting as deputies and enforcing whatever he tell them to do, they should be affiliated and signed on with the union. And for what I hear, one of those officers who was on the porch, the taller of the two, he used to be a Detroit police officer. And from also what I hear, and this is what I know pretty good from my sources, that he used to be the police chief for the Detroit Public Schools Police. Why is he ain't there now? I would like to know that question. And how does he end up with a sheriff badge in his pocket from Sheriff Rafael Washington, and he doesn't have both of the officers' uniforms, Class A's and fatigues, and assigned to the jail division? Because any new deputy, per the union contract, has to work in the Wayne County Jail for at least 6 to 8 months before they can go out into the public and work. Rafael Washington's breaking a lot of rules, but he wants to be your sheriff this year in 2024. We can do better. And there is a candidate out there that's going to be hell-bent on getting that job and getting this sorry Sheriff Rafael Washington out of office. He needs to go. I know he needs to go. You need to go too. He needs to go too. And that's just it. Look, this is the Wood Dog. I done took up a much of your time. This is my segment, Just Keeping It Real. If you want to see my live videos, you can go on my YouTube page. Like I said, Just Keeping It Real at Wood Dog 4868. Or you can go on my Facebook page under my real name, Frank Wood. Like I say, I don't hide from nobody, because just keeping it real is the only thing that I know how to do. So with that, the Wood Dog is out. And I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you very much, everybody.